Lessons Not Yet Learned is a podcast that uncovers the costly mistakes that businesses keep making and how to finally move past them. Through storytelling, candid conversations, and expert perspectives, I'm on a mission to challenge outdated thinking, bring those overlooked lessons to the surface, and drive meaningful change, one story at a time. Hi, welcome to this bonus episode of Lessons Not Yet Learned. I'm your host, Kiran Kachela, and today we're talking about the hustle culture. We live in a world that worships the hustle culture. And this culture promotes this ethos of, if you're not completely exhausted and flat on the floor, then you're not working hard enough. In the business transformation world, this manifests itself into this sprint mentality, this agile approach, which says that, you have to break things and move fast in order to remain relevant. It conditions us to believe that speed is a strategy and that those constant pivots are a sign of agility and adaptability. But there is a lesson that so many leaders haven't yet learned. If you move fast and constantly break things, you'll end up with a broken business. This hustle culture is creating this massive tax burden on organizations. I see it all the time in transformation. There's this change fatigue because we're not catching a breath. We're moving from transformation A to restructure B to software implementation C, and it's just constant. The tension is that whilst the spreadsheet looks really busy, your people are drowning. They are struggling because they've got too much on. They are rowing the boat really hard, but every second the direction is changing, and in the end, they're not actually ending up anywhere in particular. We're losing our talent and we're losing ideas. The insight we need to embrace is that speed is not a replacement for direction. In fact, the faster you go in the wrong direction, the more expensive it is for your organization, the more tax you're essentially creating. It's an expensive mistake. Sustainable transformation is about pace, it's about intentionality, making sure that you're focusing on the right things, not just doing loads of things at once and then not really going anywhere. I've worked with many organizations and I've seen that hustle culture manifest itself and the impacts it has on people, the impacts it has on all of the transformation initiatives that they plan. And with those organizations, when you go back maybe 2 years later, 4 years later, even 10 years later, you find that they haven't actually moved much further into a different direction. They're still battling with a lot of the same issues they had several years ago because essentially they haven't taken the time to do those things right, and instead they've already jumped into the next project. But equally, I've been lucky enough to work with organizations that have closed the door on that hustle culture. And I've actually said, you know what, let's just do one thing well and do it right. And they've got more governance, they've got more structure to how they're operating, but essentially they're making decisions based on what's right for the business, what's right for their people, what's right for their clients, and they're not trying to cram everything in at once. They've got a really nice pace, and I see the benefits of that. If you continue down that route of doing constant exhaustive sprints, you're going to end up collapsing at the finish line. Sustainable transformation is about having that right pace, not rewarding the daily grind, rewarding impact and outcomes, and protecting the steady. If you have that hustle culture in your organization, I challenge you to take a step back, reflect on the way in which things are operating, and perhaps look at instilling a bit of governance, a bit of structure, and make sure that you've got clear direction so that you can actually start to see some of that ROI come through and that you're not burning out all of your great people and the great ideas that they come with. Thank you for joining today's episode, and I look forward to seeing you on the next one.